You are watching Issues at Hand here on Church of Uganda Family TV. Proudly brought to you by Protea Hotel in Tebe. Yes, that number is on your screen. You can make a reservation and booking today. Now, it's very important that you utilize this time. It's the weekend, it's Friday, and we can enjoy our weekend at Protea Hotel in Tebe. So please, the number once again is on your screen. You know the right thing to do. What's at Protea Hotel in Tebe? Well, it's a wonderful hotel with luxurious spaces, with places that are comfortable. For example, the hotel rooms are top notch. There's a gym, there's a spa, there's a swimming pool, there's a lakeside view, and it's just a place where you can go and relax. There's a lot of stress that happens during the week at work. We know that children are going back to school. So many parents are very frantic right now, but you can take some time off to breathe, to meditate, to pray, and to relax. And for those whose children may be going at a later date, to spend more time, what little time we have left with our children who are in boarding school especially. So make the right decision by calling the number on your screen. Now, yes, we are going back to school. Yes, back to school is up and running as the holidays are coming to a close. But there are many key things we have to talk about, especially when it comes to the safety and the security of our children. And on this very topic, the big question is, how safe are our children in schools? Now, we know in schools there are so many vices. There are things like kidnapping happening, things like bullying, but also we have a very big problem in this country of school fires, where we have fire outbreaks that lead to the loss of lives. You all remember what happened at Salama School for the Blind, where unfortunately a lot of students lost their lives. So the question we're asking ourselves today is how can we ensure, especially as schools, that our children, our students are protected from things like fire outbreaks? So what causes them, and how can we ensure that this term we don't hear stories about fire outbreaks in schools? And to help answer these questions, I have Sergeant Walusimbi Elly, who is a community liaison officer from Fire and Rescue Services, Uganda Police. You are very welcome to Issues at Hand this morning.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to be here. And our viewers, I'm very glad also to be here so that we discuss issues which really are affecting our societies, and then we forge a way forward together. Indeed,
and yes, this is a big issue. Now, yes, of course, there have been stories of fires in markets, but that's a story for another day. But because today we are concentrating on schools. Now, there's a report that said we have seen 40 school fires, of which 17 were burnt deliberately. Why is it that we continue to have this problem of fire outbreaks in this country? Is it that schools are not well prepared in terms of equipment and training and sensitization? Or is it that there is a lack of sensitization as to how schools can best protect themselves against fire outbreaks? And what in any case causes these fires?
Thank you very much. This term has just started, and the schools have started again. So far, there is a school in Ibuwama which burnt yesterday, called the Saint Cedro. They call that name. It is in Ibuwama, Sango A village. It is there in sub-county. It burnt and was severe. So when it comes to school fires, there is a big problem. One, people think that they don't need to talk about safety of the school in their schools. When you go right now and tell them within the ABCD, they'll tell you, we shall call you later. They don't take it as a priority. In most cases, most of the schools where we normally go, you find they have so many challenges. And once you try to advise them, they'll tell you, we shall handle. Then these people who are supposed to inspect the schools, we are supposed to work hand in hand. But also, there are so many things which are lacking. After COVID, so many things were in different direction. But we tried. I remember we were here. This was the first TV, by the way, on 29th, I think January of last year, the other year. when the schools were seriously burning. We came here and we were alerting people that there is a problem. And everybody was saying, we have a BCD challenge, we have a BCD challenge. And that year, so many students died. So, we were here, also I was here. Then also, they have continued to do the same thing, though some of them have tried. But the challenge, the biggest challenge we have, the parents have not assisted us. Or they have not assisted themselves actually. Because it is now time to go back to school, just gets a child and just dumps. Then it does not ask the safety of the child. Safety equipments are not there, most of the schools. And those who still have, they are not serviced. They overdue service. Others, they take things lightly. For them, they consider academics is classwork, you need the performance, you need this. But the safety of students, nobody. I tell you from here, nobody. Whenever you go, there is nobody who's in charge most of the schools. They just get somebody to work as, but it is not direct person that is in charge the safety.
In terms of fire,
yes, in terms of fire. Even others, because once you go there, they will tell you, my work is just to see these students. Now, what is your work? They don't know. You know, safety is something big. And most people take it lightly and for granted. That's why you have found most of the schools have banned. Others, I think for me, I've decided to discover that these days, these people are banning these schools deliberately. One, they have wrangles within the community, the neighbors. Then they ban. Others, they just neglect within. You find that there is a school where we found that it is administration block which banned. Administration block, and at night nobody was even there. There are also other things like students, this ASON thing. The students also, once they get this granted, and then they ban. That's what we have been experiencing last time. Somebody, because has got annoyed with administration, some has been chased. You remember one of the schools in Tungam, students were expelled from school and they came back and they abandoned one of the students and banned the dormitory and killed that student because they had issues with administration. So they came back. The students we have in these schools are not easy people. Some of them, they think these are children. Those are fellow mature people we have at school. They have been taking different things, and by the time they went back to school, they are not the same students you used to know. Something small, they get heated up very fast and they get annoyed. They do weird things. Those are the students we have. The teachers themselves, they cannot also manage them. Some schools, and there are no strict laws for them, they think of, he has paid the fees, we shall handle. That's happening. Then these other minor things like electricity, those are minor, but they come as accident. They are not much, but most of the things is just banned by individuals. The moment you hear that in every school in a certain school there is a misunderstanding, the next thing is banning. That is what is happening. Whenever you hear there is misunderstanding, maybe students are rioting, after a few days you'll find when they have banned. So that's what people have resorted to. Others, they did not pay some of the teachers. And they say they cannot go like that. Also you have to make a loss. They come back and ban. We have a school in Entebbe which was banned by a matron because of payments. Matron banned the school. We have others which are banned because they have some wrangles within land, and then the school. Then others, they have what we call a speedy governor. Your school is moving very fast. Maybe it can cause a problem to this one. Somebody with a bad heart comes and bans the school. That's what's happening in the community.
So those are some of the reasons why we have the issue of fires in schools. But there's you've mentioned, and there are different stakeholders. We have parents, we have students, and we have schools as well. So you mentioned very importantly that parents have a big role when it comes to fire safety in schools.
Yes.
And I know there are parents who are watching saying, what does that have to do with me? So what role do parents have in ensuring that schools are safe from fire? Because parents don't, some of these parents, many of them don't work at that school. So what is their role?
The moment you take a child to school, the first thing you have to know where your child is going to sleep. That's one. Two, you have to look at the security of the school and then advise. Because you know, you have been moving, you're a parent, you know what it takes. It is bad you just abandon your child in a school, you don't know where the security is okay, the dormitory where the child is going to sleep, even you don't know, for you just abandon. Once it gets a problem again, you begin shedding tears, those I call them crocodile tears. Because some of them, they just abandon and run away. They don't even have paid the fees, you handle. Their work, one, you work hand in hand. The moment the other one starts the school, for you provide the student. So you need to work hand in hand so that the safety of this child is between you two people. But not just, some of them, even if we get some callers here and you ask them, have you ever tried to check the extinguishers which are at the school? We tell you, they don't allow us. You see? Even when you ask, do you know where your child sleeps? At that school, said, the moment you bring the child at the gate, they will never show you where that child is going to sleep. But you might find that it's going to be pushed, the law or some regulations are supposed to put in every dormitory. They're supposed to be a double decker. But you go to schools now, you're a journalist, you will find triple deckers, there is nowhere to pass, corridors are blocked with these big boxes, okay, they call them suitcases, those metallic things. And where to pass as if you are entering in a dungeon, something which is complicated. Yet, there is what we call basic minimum requirements of Ministry of Education and Sports. There are those indicators. Indicator 12 talks about the safety and the security. Every school to get a license is supposed to fulfill all that, and they're given by ministry. When they are opening, they put it right. After some time, they go on because they want numbers. They divert from what they're supposed to put in place, and then they do their own things. Most of the dormitories like these people who have these flats. Those flats and dormitories are up. They don't have where to escape from. It is one entry like this. If the problem is on the doorway, the children will perish in that fire. They don't have anything talk about like safety. It's not there. If somebody will buy like one extinguisher or two, and you ask him, if really a dormitory of 200 students catch fire, and you have 9 kilograms of 9 kilograms of powder extinguisher, will it help you? You're supposed to put on at least these hydrants, you put on the water system, sprinkling system. They don't. They tell you, that one we shall handle next year. Next year becomes next year. That's why you are seeing rampant fires. And the ministry itself, they have not done much. This is what I can tell you. To work hand in hand maybe with the fire brigade or Directorate of Fire and Rescue Services to go around to enforce. Because there is no direct law that I can come like, me, I'm the community liaison officer, I go to a school, I find problems there, then I recommend the school that it is supposed to be closed. I don't have those powers. There is no direct law.
Can you, so one, okay, you say there's no direct law, but does police have the mandate to carry out inspections, for instance, or is that on the Ministry of Education?
Yes.
When it comes to fire safety?
When it comes to fire safety,
security in general.
Yes, our work we go and advise.
At whose behest? Who is it? Uganda Police that says, how does that come about? Of which school you go to? So is it the Ministry of Education that says, we want you to to go and inspect the security, especially when it comes to fire of these schools? Or is it the Uganda Police that comes up with which school to go to and when?
Some of the functions, or what we are supposed to do is to see that all Ugandans are safe. But in a situation where you find that they are not safe, there is no direct rule in some areas where you can just say, I've closed this place because you don't have the law you are going to use to close that place. You need to operate within other laws. You go to maybe occupational safety, there is no direct instruction that once you don't find ABCD, close this. It is not there. The only thing, the moment you reach a certain school, you have inspected, you have done your part, you advise. After advising them, then you recommend what they are supposed to put in place. And then also you give a copy to those who are responsible, like the inspectors within the division or the district. Those are the very people who give these people licenses, and they have the mandate to go to school, say, you don't have ABCD, we are closing this school. But as police, we don't have that mandate. But you can advise that it's not a good place. But you cannot go like when you are going to arrest maybe somebody, find somebody has committed this, you arrest there and then. You don't have that direct powers that you can do that. Because we operate under this occupation safety, this health and safety. That one you quote something like in section 60, 56 to 60, where that the proprietors of those businesses are supposed to put in place fire safety systems. Then the workers are mandated also to know how they work. But when you read it deep, there is no way that if I don't find them there, you see, for your work, you go and say, according to this, you don't have a BCD, but this is what I can recommend. If it was so, very many schools would have closed them.
Actually, now let's get into that proper. Before we get into what does schools need to do, can you first take us through one, because there might be school administrators, but also parents who are watching and they want to understand how this issue of fire works. So what tools, for instance, are very dangerous when it comes to starting a fire outbreak? How do they usually start, and which tools are used? And then secondly, what do schools need to put in place in terms of systems and equipment to ensure that the schools are safe against fire outbreaks?
All right, thank you very much. The moment they talk of fire, there are always three things which are readily available. Fire is everywhere. It is good only when it is cooking food you are going to eat, or it's going to warm your body. But the moment it goes out of your control, it becomes bad. And that one needs our intervention together. What does it need? In most cases, what in most of those communities we are specified, like the school, what is there? We have the mattresses. We have these beds. We have these, so many things, clothes, uniform, whatever. Most of them are materials which can burn, and we classify them because fires are not the same. We have fires of sometimes we say class A. Those are tangible things or solid things. We call them flammable solids. That one, 99% is one you find at school. And what do you need to put off such fire? You need water mostly, and maybe if it is small, you use these extinguishers. Because extinguisher, people think that when you have it, you might not be having fire. No, it is just a first aid firefighting equipment. So, if you have that class A, and it is 99% you find at school, and you need water, most of the schools you don't have water. The water they have is in just small taps, maybe in some tanks, but water to fight fire, they don't have it.
That's why you said you need, for example, a sprinkler system.
Yes, they don't have it. And then it is very rare to find a class B fire, which is flammable liquids in schools. You can maybe find it where there is maybe generator and maybe teachers' cars or school cars.
Or chemistry lab.
Yes, chemistry lab. Again, there you can find the class C. Those are gases, because in most cases they are those cylinders, Bunsen burners. That's where you can find that, because that one, but it's not so common. Then this class D metals, it is not also, maybe also in lab you can get those metals like sodium, which are so reactive. Those one they are there, but it is very rare. And potassium, those one once they smuggle it out and take it to dormitory, kusha. Because for them, the moment you remove it in that liquid, they keep it, you put it on any piece or outside, it has its own, it can ignite itself, actually. Then, these people who burn, they normally come with accelerants, like petrol. And they know very well what is there. The moment you put accelerants, they just burn, and then there's nothing you can save because they know you don't have the means. That's what is happening in the schools. And the worst part of it, most of the schools don't have good security system. They don't have that system. One, the person you find at the gate, you find the same time is a cook. The same time is supposed to be is a matron or what they know, whatever. He has been piled with a lot of work, cannot concentrate. And is one person. There are over 7 blocks. Security is not all about being there on the gate, you planted as if you are going to germinate. No. It is moving around you a bit. Move around so that anybody who can, the visibility. Somebody wants to do something, you say, no, there is this. And on top of that, they have employed only one person, but also they have not put systems like what we call motion sensors. Like if you have only one person and every dormitory have put motion sensors, if anybody accesses there, it will trigger the alarm. They don't have it. So the security. Then the fence is very porous in most of these schools. You can pass anywhere. And it is recommended that every school must have at least a fence. So to reduce these people normally come and pass everywhere. But it is porous, everywhere passes. So it is very difficult and it breaches the security of the school. That's why you find that most of the dormitories which burn, they burn when the students have gone for preps or when they have just come back and they are deep asleep, they are tired, then they burn. That's when the time, because they know nobody is there. It is just there. God is the one helping most schools.
Many of the dormitories are open at that time,
yes.
Even when the students are in class.
They are in class. They are wide open. And what is there? They are these nets. No, I don't know the materials, nylon and whatever. They burn very fast. So in most cases, it is open. And then anybody with a bad heart, or maybe someone want to do something wrong to the school, or maybe it's disgruntled somewhere, can come and do anything at any time, and they run away without being detected. The cameras, some schools have put cameras, but the challenge, the cameras are being used just for post-mortem. I think that's the right word to use. For post-mortem, to see what happened. That's not good.
Something has gone wrong. That's when they use
them. They are in director's office, which is very wrong. The cameras, once you install them, employ somebody, like 2 people. Like one is monitoring what is happening at that very material moment, and then it can alert people. Then if that person is tired, also another person comes on another shift. It will work. But most people have cameras just to see what has happened after, when the incident has already happened, which is very wrong. So we are appealing in most cases that once you have them, use them in a right way. Most schools, the alarm system they have, it is for different things, not for alerting people that there is danger. So that's what's happening in those schools. And the challenge, they get the owners of the schools, they put in place and they put these other workers to do the work, and the owners don't go back there. For them, they are only, what result do you have? Most of them, they don't monitor. Some of them are not in education, they are businessmen. They don't know what is required. They say, I have the buildings, I have the students, I have all what it takes, but when it comes to safety, they don't know. That's why sometimes we have been moving to those owners of those schools. They have an association called the PIAO. We go to them and tell them, please, when a problem strikes and the school is burnt, it will all roll back to you, the owner. Not the head teacher, not the teachers, or you, the owner. And then they say, what are we supposed to do? We have advised them. Those who have agreed, they have put in place. some things. Those who have seen it as if we are just wastage of time, you go there in uniforms, Afande, now Afande, what have you come to do here? Just like that, undermines you before even you talk to him.
Something that's important when it comes to protection against fire outbreaks, fire safety drills. We see many companies do that because I understand the goal is to ensure that the workers in the company know in case of a fire outbreak, what should I do, what needs to be done so that I remain safe and so that other people remain safe. Is this something that's happening in schools, and what does it take to ensure that we have fire safety drills happening in our schools?
When you go in schools and talk about fire drills, I think if they are there, they are not more than 2 out of the schools you have in Uganda. If I'm not mistaken, if they are there, they are not more than 2 out of the thousands and thousands of schools we have in Uganda. They don't do it. The moment you talk about fire drills in the schools, they'll bring some excuses, it needs time to organize ABCD. When a problem is strike, does not need you to be prepared that I'm preparing for this. But once you talk about those drills, they tell you that one, yet it's just something simple. Just put alarm, and you see how many minutes people take to evacuate from dormitories. And then the police must be somewhere near so that you can see. Then other people to observe, to advise you that the last person took 10 minutes. Yet it's supposed to be 3 minutes, the last person. They don't do it. In most cases, when you go, even if you go there to sensitize them, they give you limited time. Here you can give me a lot of time to talk about it, but you go to schools. They will call you when they have other programs and they give you 5 minutes. What are you going to do really? 5 minutes, talk about fire there, something. You have to do the practical, you have to know how the fire starts, how to evacuate, what are you supposed to know? They don't. There is not that time in most of the schools. And the moment you begin that, they tell you, sometime when they give you such time, say, please, maybe I'll come back, organize, and you go. Because you are going to do nothing. So in most cases, those schools, there is no drill. Let it be a university, let it be what, they don't do it.
And that's why we continue to have these issues. So from what we've discussed, just to get you right, some of the things that schools, including universities and tertiary institutions, should do to ensure that students are protected from the outbreak of fire. You've mentioned one. You mentioned that we shall start with the last. Have fire drills so that you know what to do in case of a fire. Then you've spoken about having cameras, having fire extinguishers, having sprinklers, ensuring that the fence is beefed up, especially those to guard against people who might come from outside and plan to cause fire in the schools, and then have motion sensors. Is there anything that you can add to that list that schools should do?
Yeah. One, let us work as a team. You might be knowing all of it, that it is a school, it's a source of knowledge, but there are some things which you don't know, of which we know it. And also, let us work as a team. We liaise together so that we can protect those vulnerable students we have in those schools. Be with contacts, be with what we call a display board, which includes the number of the teacher, the number of the fire brigade, or the people heading the fire brigade department or director of fire. You must be having it at every school. You must be having the number of the OC in that area. You must be having the number of the chairman of that area, and any other person who is responsible within that community who is attached to that school. That body must be there at school. Then there must be what we call emergency action plan in every school. Have you ever seen it anywhere?
What does that entail?
Emergency action plan, it is a detailed information. What are you supposed to do in case there is emergency? There are things which you are supposed to do first, and there are things which you are supposed to do last. But most of the schools, they don't have.
Can you give us an example of that?
One,
if it's a fire outbreak.
Yes, if there's fire break, make alarm. And once you make alarm, which type of alarm? If there is this electric bells, you can press it. And the moment somebody hears it, you leave whatever you're supposed to do, and then you go out. Like, for example, this building. If there is you have emergency action plan. 1, there's alarm. 2, find out what is burning. 3, everybody must evacuate. The moment there's alarm, evacuate. The moment people are evacuated, you have a team which swings in action immediately to find out what is going on, and those marshals to help those ones, because there are those people, they hear, they say the alarm, and then they say, maybe there is a problem. It continues. So to help those ones who cannot respond very fast to move out. 3, you have to be with contacts. You call fire brigade immediately. Even if you can handle, call them. Even if the fire is like your fist, call them. It must be written on emergency action plan. Then also, if you can, and if it is safe to do so, fight the fire. Then people run to assembly point. There is assembly point. The moment you reach assembly point, people can assemble. If it is like family TV here, they assemble in your assembly point according to the departments. To that to ascertain who is missing for accountability. Then if there is somebody missing, you do what? You swing in action for rescue. Hand in hand with the team, with the external interventionists who have come, then you direct them what to do. All they're supposed to be in what we call an emergency action plan, of which most of the places they don't have.
And that's unfortunate. So
Yes.
if you're a school administrator and you're watching, you need an emergency action plan. And we're going to talk about this and more after this quick breather. So don't go anywhere, as we are still talking about how to keep our schools safe as children return to schools from the holidays. You're still watching Issues at Hand here on Good Morning Family. You are still watching Issues at Hand here on Church of Uganda Family TV, and we are talking about fire safety, especially as schools reopen. And of course, Issues at Hand is proudly brought to you by Protea Hotel Entebbe. The number is on the screen. Please use it and make a reservation and booking today so that you can enjoy all the wonderful amenities that are on offer. Now, I am still here with Sergeant Walusimbi Elly, who is a community liaison officer from the Fire and Rescue Services Uganda Police. Now, we've spoken about the parents, we've spoken about what the administration of the schools should do, but now we have a central role in this issue of fire, which is the students. Now, we have heard of scenarios where actually I was at a school where just a year before I joined that school, one of the dormitories got burnt, and the reason what started the fire was a candle that was lit by a student who wanted to read in the dormitory, what they call read winter, read after night prep. So what advice do you give to students watching this right now who are going back to schools? What are some of the tools that they should avoid taking to schools? Because some of them sneak these things like candles to schools. So what should students do to avoid starting fires in school? Plus also, what can students pay attention to in terms of there's a suspicious looking character, or there's a student who keeps using equipment that they shouldn't use?
All right, thank you very much. Before all that, we are supposed to include the students in what we call the Safety and Security Committee. The moment you include them, you'll never get any fire at school. 1, they are the ears and the eyes on ground. They will tell you all types of information. When you are doing what we call the Safety Committee, when you are putting up what we call a Safety Committee at school, the headmasters are supposed to be the head of it. The teachers must be represented, the matron, the security people, the students of every class. They're supposed to every class. No matter even if it is primary or secondary, include them to be there. Reason, allow them to bring information to you. You know, when it comes to security, security works much on information. Then you become more proactive than being reactive when you have the information. Either it is true or false, be with it. At least it is you to find out whether it is true or false, but when you have the information. But most people don't have that. But what I'm encouraging them, let them include the students on those safety committees. They will be telling them what is happening. The moment you call them
happening in the dormitories,
in the dormitory, in the classes, and those people who are notorious, and always protect their information so that they can give you more information. Sometimes they will give you false information. But don't just say, the other time you gave me false information. No. Create a situation. The moment they give you such information, also create what we call the snap checks of what they have given you. They have told you somebody is having maybe matchbox or a candle in a suitcase. Don't just react that very time. You give it some hours, and then when everything is settled, you just tell 2 to 3 teachers, let's go to such a dormitory, and we check everything. Those snaps, spot checks. Then it will help you that you do it regularly. Then you will say, what if they come? Sometimes they come when they have not informed anybody. That one will help you. Then the students themselves, they will be providing information because they have it, and they keep quiet because they fear to be bullied. They fear to be, tortured by other students. So they have it. So include them. 2, we advise every parent, if you know your child likes reading, at least provide with these rechargeable lights, like these torches and whatever. We'll always get a way how we can charge it during the day. Then at night, those who want to read, those winter thing, at least they can do it. Those torches are there, and they can work very well. Then also the school can do that, also to have those rechargeable lamps. They are there. But don't put these pressure lamps at school. Don't put these other, there are so many types of you can use, but these kerosene lamps and whatever, we discourage them, because anything can happen. Pressure lamps, the moment you over pressurize it, it can burst. We've ever seen a full island in Buvuma, because somebody was pressurizing and put a wrong fuel, it exploded and killed very many people, and the entire landing site. It can happen also in these schools, so we don't encourage them. So at least provide solar, it can assist those who want to read. Then the students themselves, they can go to school with at least a torch. I said that one is not bad. You go with your, but this one which are rechargeable, when you are free, you take it to the staff room, then they charge it for you. At night, you can use it. Those one can work. Then also, they must be vigilant. In most cases, they must be trained to know who's not supposed to be at school, who's here, we are seeing somebody, and they take quick information. Not this one, the emergency has already struck, and then somebody say, what happened? We saw. That is paining really. We saw, what did you do? But when you come closer to them, and they will be giving information, and then when they see somebody, also encourage them, when they see somebody they don't know, they report immediately. And they see, we have seen a stranger, ABCD. Then at the gate here, now they are going back. Let all teachers get involved. You go to school now, they are going back on Sunday. You will see what you will find at the gate. You will find people who don't know how to check. For me, I normally take my daughter to school, and then I keep quiet. Most of those schools, they don't know me. I keep quiet, and I see what are they going to check. Somebody have brought, they checks these other things and leaves the bag like that. Then they put somebody who doesn't have any experience, doesn't know what to check. Just like this, he goes. So they don't inform them what to check, what are they looking for. And most students nowadays, they go with these smoking things like marijuana to schools. It is there. And then when they are checking, this is my medicine. Your medicine? For what? It is there in those schools. And the moment you just pull everybody. If they confiscate it, call the parent. The good thing, somebody who has brought that child is there. What is this? Don't leave it there. Take it to experts and check whether it is maybe local herb or it is these other things. But that's what's happening in school. But what I'm telling them, let them be vigilant. Let them include these students to be part of the security and safety of the school. Then also, they train them in case when there is a problem, what are they supposed to do? There's what we call survival skills, emergency survival skills. One, when you hear the alarm, what are you supposed to do? When there is too much smoke, there is alarm. when you cannot see 2 meters ahead of you, just know you cannot walk on that thick smoke. Go down on your knees, crawl up to the doorway, then you move out. That is one survival skill. When you walk upright, by the time you reach the doorway, you have already inhaled that smoke, and then you suffocate. You cannot go out. You cannot walk 10 meters. No way. Then fire will just come and summarize your body. So you have to go on your knees, go, and then move out. And also, when maybe you are moving out, your clothes catch fire, don't just take off. Move to a safer place, then you just stop, drop, and then roll. Then to press where there is fire on the body, on the ground, so that the flame will go off. Because you can select this shirt here. To remove it when it has caught fire, it can take you 10 minutes. Here it is your shirt. Struggling to remove it, you will be getting burnt in the other, then spreading fire. But when you press it on the ground, the flame will go off, though you will sustain some injuries, but you will put it off. Then in first aid, you just get clean water only. Pour it on that very affected part. Reason, to reduce the movement of heat from that affected part to other parts. Then you can go and treat normally. Then also, they are never sleep in a dormitory as a student when there is no water. It must be in an open container, like a bucket, a basin. It must be there. Reason, some of the fires start, and if it is small, just get this water and pour it on that very mattress. It will go off, or it will reduce the spread. Then you can take off and come out. Or you can wake up and find that you don't know the source, but everywhere there is a thick smoke. The only way, just get a bed sheet, soak it in that water, just wrap it on the face here, so that the inhalation of that smoke reduces to be direct. Then you can move and then do what? Go. Everybody can go, can help. You just soak and then tie it. Then also it can be that the fire started at the doorway and there is no any other to pass. Don't pass through the window. Soak that blanket or that bed sheet in that very water. Wrap it on the body. You can pass through this fire when you are going out, but not when you are coming inside. When you are from a place of danger to the place of safety, there it can assist you. Those are some of the things. And then always there must be at least a way to alert others. In every dormitory, those matrons and the other people who help, let them be with at least a whistle or alarming system, and they train on it. Let them do a drill. So that if the first person sees something, we will blow that whistle or we will alert, and everybody is supposed to go where? Out. But not at that very material moment. That's why some of them remain, become confused and decide to hide under the bed. Because there was no clear system how you can assist them in emergency evacuation.
Indeed. Now, very quickly, because unfortunately we've run out of time, but in 1 minute or less, how can schools get this knowledge? Is the fire department of Uganda Police, does it hold trainings? What does it take for schools to have to get this knowledge so that they can pass it on to their students?
It's totally free. Totally free. The moment you just call us, I'm going to give 0752, that's my personal number, 70 76 29. You call Walusimbi direct. You tell me on such and such a date. It is you to tell us the date and time. We have a very big team in every part of this country that we need you to do ABCD to our school. We shall come. If there is emergency, you can call 0800 121 222. That number is a toll-free line. It goes direct to Directorate of Fire Prevention and Rescue Services. That number will help you. Or you can call Director Fire, AIGP Mugisha Joseph, on 0712 144 799. That one, you call him and tell him we need ABC. You will immediately. So, he's the head of the department, by the way, that directorate. You can call him. So, anytime you want the service, it is for free. It is there, but people don't know it is there. So, whenever you call us, we are available.
Now that we know it's there, we shall make sure that we use these services. Thank you so much, Afande, for taking us through how we can keep our schools safe as parents, as school administrators, but also as students. Remember, we don't send our children to school to get into trouble with bullying and also and to get injured through fire outbreaks. There's no parent who wants that. So we have to all do our respective roles to ensure that they go to school, they get the education that we have sent them to get, they grow and mature spiritually, socially, and so that when they finish school, they can grow up to be the successful people that we want them to be as parents. So let's follow the advice that has been given to us by Sergeant Walusimbi Elly. Thank you for joining us on Issues at Hand today. It's time for the weekend, after which we shall return on Monday with more here on Issues at Hand. But for now, enjoy your weekend. God richly bless you and have a lovely time this day.